Fresh from the Easter holiday, the U.S. and Canadian markets returned to find a quiet store. Volatility was a little bit low and the volume was a little bit slow as they're still celebrating a great and happy Easter Monday across the pond. Welcome to the MTI Minute. This is Kevin Dixon, Senior Trading Analyst at Market Traders Institute. Happy Easter Monday to you. Hope you had a very great Easter over the weekend. It was beautiful weather here. But what's beautiful about everything? We're not really seeing a lot of selling in the markets and a rally in crude oil over Iran sanctions being removed against their preferred status against, well, you know what the heck it is. It's the same old dialogue. As I always say, let's let the charts do the talking. We're heading into the SPY, the spiders. Broad, what you're not seeing is selling. That's all you're going to take away from today. We gapped down a little bit into the week still. There's going to be more developing as more develops. Well, like I said, they're closed in the UK, they're closed in the EU, they're closed in Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, all enjoying a second Easter holiday. We just don't know how to do things right here in the United States. Let's just take a Good Friday and maybe do like a little bit of a Easter Sunday. Oh, get back to work. It's Monday. This is the Dow Industrial Average diamonds. Diamonds are actually the weakest link on the day. We're getting ready to go into a big part of earnings season now. There's going to be a lot of meat on the street. We're going over 300, 400 earnings reports this week. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we talk about some sectors here in a moment. This is the Qs, the NASDAQ 100. Now, folks, the FANGs are moving. Netflix looking good. Apple looking good. All the chips are down at the right time. New highs just on Wednesday's trading. Have us looking forward to new highs this week as well. And at a key time as we're rolling right into the earnings reports. Now, check this out. This is IWM. I've said all along I don't like this floating around below 159. I don't like it then. I don't like it now. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. The big rally today in crude oil definitely gets our attention. It was announced that those nations that are still importing and exporting Iranian crude oil, importing Iranian crude oil rather, since they can't export Iranian crude, can they, are going to no longer be allowed to come to the clubhouse. That means they'll actually have to hang outside like everybody else does. But again, seriously removing sanctions, putting sanctions on those nations who continue to import and export oil. Me, I'm spelling that maybe something's going to happen in the Strait of Hormuz because this is starting to flare up a little bit. Geopolitical tensions arriving in the marketplace. So let's keep an eye on crude oil. This really rallied the CAD. More about that when we get into currencies. We are back into the charts right now on crude oil. Check this out. This is our home builders. Home builders are building homes. We hit a lot of targets last week. We hit over 6 targets last week on some of the trades we were setting up. So we need a little bit of a pit stop there so we can get rolling on into the next leg of the trade, which is not today, by the way. I would tell you, this is a setup day. This is the day you just sit back and wait. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things that were going on in the marketplace on the day. As we're moving in earnings, the scale is tipping a little bit against our retail sector, so the retail components are getting beat. But even as the markets are closing on all-time highs, the transportation complex has been moving very well. So I've got a few of the charts behind me that we'll discuss right about now as we head back into the charts, discussing a few of those key names in the retail group. Guess what? Guess hitting 52-week lows. Now, this is fast, this is flash, this is where we were at the end of last year in August, where that high is on the fib range, but look at that engulfing candlestick. If you love this at $23, well, guess what? It's at $16.15 as we're getting into the last few hours here on Wall Street. Here's another name, Nordstrom. I was thinking about this earlier. This really looks like it could tumble some, and next thing you know, those two magic words pop into your head. Short it. Short it. It could break out. Don't ask yourself, it couldn't possibly go any lower. Look at what happened to JCPenney. Dillard's getting clobbered, but JCPenney, below $5. Let's get back into those charts, and guess what? This could get there. Remember, it can't possibly go any higher. That's the fabrication. It can't possibly go any lower. That's not the truth in the sense that 0 is a number in the stock market. Below 67 bucks right now, that's Dillard's. Donkey Sierra stumbling into the earnings block. Now, as I mentioned before, Union Pacific crashing 52-week highs. Crude oil problems? No problem. We got transportation here for you. Norfolk Southern, 52-week highs above the $200 mark. And CSX Corp, a couple days removed from those 52-week highs on Wednesday. So as you can tell, it's a tale of two tickers. You have preference in one market, you have deference in another market, and next thing you know, you have moved through the year. Now we're going to get clear into the bigger movers here on the day, and those come to us via currencies with a rally in crude oil, which sent that Canadian dollar moving. The Canadian dollar really took off against a host of baskets in what would be an otherwise very quiet market. Now remember, Spreads are going to be a little bit higher. We're going to see some gaps overnight when the other markets come back online after a long holiday weekend. So watch for some real volatility around the Asian market open, in particular volatility around the UK, EU opens here respectively, as we're going to be catching up after a few days off, right? Remember, if we started the market on Tuesday, then we'd have to contend with Sunday and Monday to start again on Tuesday, and that create probably a bit of price movement depending on what happens as the market shift into the close today. Back into the charts and through and into the early Asian session. Canadian dollar started kicking up a big dust here with that rally in crude. So you've got big moves, but still largely range bound across the greenback. The dollar CAD is down 40 pips in a 50 pip range. Your Euro CAD also holding $1.50. I like to see this start skirting below $1.50 so I could live up to those famous two words, short it. Short it. Say it again. Feels good. Short it. This is the pound CAD. Short it. Break $1.73 and see if this thing can flee down to that next support level around and below maybe $1.71, maybe $1.70.75. Now check this out. CAD yen's also rallying a bit on the day. And all I want to see is this getting above 84.30 and completing this breakout. It's been flaking out instead of breaking out. And we don't like things that flake out instead of break out. New Zealand CAD also right around the 89-cent level. Now this is something I've really been keeping an eye on. Check this. You move the trend line down here. Float it right below 88 cents. And if you can get a breakdown there, where's your next support level take you? Well, I'll tell you what, it takes you right down there. Tell them what they won. They've won about 150, 130 pipalulas. That's what you could look at if the Canadian dollar keeps strengthening up there. And the Swiss franc, once again, we're right below that 76.25 level, advancing. And you can see horizontally, we're moving towards some resistance levels. And you know what they say, support and resistance, there's only two things to do. You take it on a breakout, or you're shorted on a flake out. And that's the way you're in it to do on your winning trades. Now check this out. I really appreciate all the likes that you've given us here on the MTI Minute. And if you find something you like, be sure to click and share it with some of your friends. If there's any comments that we could help you look at some analysis, like what is a trend line, let us know and type that into the information box as well. We'll be sure to get back with you. In it to win it on the MTI Minute, it's Kevin Dixon. We will see you next time.